Making your own epoxy tumbler is a lot easier than I thought. However, it takes way longer than I thought it would be. There are exact steps you need to follow, which will get you to your desired destination. But trying to take a shortcut does not pay off well. I made a fair share of my mistakes with my first tumbler to the point when I had to strip off all epoxy from the tumbler down and start from scratch. The first step is to sandpaper the tumbler surface. A steel tumbler out of the factory assembly line looks really nice, but its surface is too smooth and usually contains a layer of oil, which will prevent the paint-based coat or epoxy to stick properly to the surface. As the result, the epoxy will be receding during the drying process, creating dry spots called also fish eyes. Those are the areas where the tumbler will expose its bare surface. You need to be sanding until your fingers will turn black and you will see you are scraping into the raw metal. A proper tumbler preparation is so important that I have created a dedicated video just for this process. The second step is to wash the tumbler with soap water to get rid of the residue from sandpaper. You can use any dish soap you have available. When you're done, wipe the tumbler dry using either a kitchen paper towel or any piece of cloth you have available. The next step is to wipe the tumbler with cotton rounds soaked with 99% isopropyl alcohol. This step will make sure you will take off the tumbler the last micro pieces of oils that could still exist on the surface and could cause a problem during later epoxy curing. You can either spray the alcohol on the tumbler using a small plastic spray bottle, or simply soak the cotton round with alcohol and clean it this way, which is what I'm doing now. You know you did a good job when the cotton round will turn black after you finish cleaning. Now, when the tumbler is 100% clean, we can apply the primer paint. It is always recommended to spray paint tumbler outdoors. Unfortunately, I live in an apartment and it was raining that day when I was making this video. So I have decided to spray paint in the living room. Let's just say it was not the best and brightest idea, and let's pretend I did a silly test on your behalf so you don't have to. Always outdoors. Some people say you need to use the same primer color as the glitter you will be using. Maybe once you start doing tumblers as a side business, I would say go for it. But so far black and white color worked out for me just fine. That is because when I use glitter, I usually use a lot of it, and it covers 100% of the tumbler surface with no primer color peeking through. If you are planning to do other techniques, and believe me there are plenty, which will use less glitter, then you might have to invest in additional primer color paints. If you are just starting out, buy white. If you are planning to experiment also with alcohol ink, I would also suggest getting black color as well. In one of my videos, I am making two alcohol ink tumblers with the same alcohol ink colors, but with the different base colors. Make sure to check out that video so you can see the difference in the final effect. And of course, for epoxy tumbler crafting, you would need a tumbler turner. Why tumbler turner? Because it keeps the tumblers turning for hours and hours until the epoxy dries. Epoxy is liquid, and if you don't use a tumbler turner, you run into the risk of epoxy dripping down the tumbler before it dries. What we have here is a tumbler turner by Craft Evolved. This is actually a double turner. I mentioned in the beginning, tumbler crafting is a fairly straightforward but lengthy process. It may take a few days to finish one tumbler. If you have a double tumbler turner, you can work in parallel on two tumblers at the same time, which will save you time and allows you to be more productive. This tumbler turner is a new upgraded version which features a full metal body and silent motor with 5 to 6 rotations per minute. Why are 6 rotations per minute important? Because of liquid epoxy. We have tested 3 rotations per minute turners, and especially when used with alcohol ink crafting, the epoxy was dripping. With 5 rotations per minute, you should not have this problem. The Craft Evolved motor features both directions spinning. Just turn off and on the motor and the motor will spin in the other direction. The motor is very well built. During the testing, I let it run for 36 hours straight with no overheating. Last but not least, a feature which is my favorite, metal bearings. The first version of the turner was using a rubber. That was causing overheating of the turner arm, damage to the body caused by friction, which was dramatically shortening the life of the turner. Metal bearings ensure there is no friction and also making the tumbler turner running quieter. A link to this product will be in the description below. That is all when it comes to the preparation of the tumbler. Now, let's go make some epoxy tumblers together, and I will see you in the next video.